the artist who made these beautiful paintings that are all around. It is because of her that we were invited into this space. And so we are so grateful for your invitation, for your time, and now we're so excited for your words. And I also wrote a haiku about you. Are you curious about the fair vagina? Good. Sarah's here.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm so happy that everybody is here for this programming. This is like a dream come true, having everyone like speak these words in front of these paintings. So thank you so much. And I'm really nervous but excited to read this TMI essay that I wrote. When I got my first period at the end of year party in 6th grade, I came out of the park bathroom to see the most popular girl in school behind me in line. Would she know? I was mortified and scared. I didn't have a pad or a tampon and didn't really know how to use either. Rather than tell anyone or do anything about it, I spiraled with worry until I got home. I had heard a few girls in my class were rewarded with presents to celebrate their first periods. One's friend's mom bought her a pair of fancy new tennis shoes. White high tops with pink rhinestones. When I told my mom hours later, she said something like, "Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry." Okay. I sat depressed playing spider solitaire for a week until even my dad noticed, or maybe my mom had told him. He asked me if anything was wrong. Everything was wrong, but I nodded my head no, because how could I explain? Does he even know what a period is? I was fairly informed about my biology thanks to a liberal public school education. In 4th grade, a few moms/nurses came in and gave us an explicit presentation about our sexual organs and what to expect as we finished elementary school. Someone in our class was brave enough to ask how we would know it was time to take out our tampons. You will just know. Things like smiles and that was the end of the conversation. I became fixated on that question, that I would not in fact know. I was desperate for this secret knowledge and made a silent vow to gain access to it so that it could protect me. I set out on my quest armed with a stack of glossy magazines and the occasional TV commercial, only to find that knowing is something I could only achieve through experience. And my experience thus far was that my menstrual cycle was an embarrassing secret to hide from everyone, and no one was telling me otherwise. Even 17 magazine, in its infinite wisdom, published advice columns that suggested ways to cover up this monthly indignity. The columns were placed next to awkward Tampax ads that addressed the apparently still relevant question, if I use tampons, am I still a virgin? This is still happening. The ads assured the readers that you were. One tampon company advertised a tampon with a wrapper that looked like a sugar packet. So the users could avoid the shame of someone seeing her holding a tampon in public. Advertising demonstrations always are with translucent blue liquid rather than red. Only recently has a company used actual blood in its commercials, and that's only in Europe. It was 1992, and I wouldn't discover the seminal blog about free bleeding, all about my vagina, for another 25 years. When it comes to womanhood, however, the grass is always greener. My first summer with Aunt Flo during a sleepover at a best friend's house, my friend discovered some life raft size pads in my overnight sleeping bag and became upset that I hadn't told her. She hadn't gotten her period yet and thought it was an honor to be bestowed upon the worthy. I was surprised by her reaction and unconvinced of its merit. I hated my period, but I didn't have the words yet to explain why it sucked. Now I do. Aside from the physical discomfort, starting up to 7 days before and lasting up to 7 days during, which I suppose is just preparation for the terror of childbirth, it is a bloody massacre that happens at least every 28 days. If you've ever heard a woman say she faints at the sight of blood, you can be sure she is a pathological liar. Science tells us that women are guaranteed to handle from 3 tablespoons to 1 cup of blood a month from the age of 12 or 13, maybe even younger, until menopause in their early 50s. Some quick math tells me that this is 40 odd years of regular bleeding and a whopping 113 liters of blood. Often the discharge comes out in clots or chunks that are as globular and purple as your grandma's blood sausage. After 25 years of getting my period every month, I can still be shocked at the abject horror of my used heavy flow tampons. Like a field biologist performing tests on the edge of a volcano, a young menstruating woman must execute rigorous, high-stakes experiments on the fly, gauging the limits of her various menstrual implements and measuring them by her unique body rhythms in the explosive social ecosystem of middle school. Key observations are often made under less than ideal conditions. On a friend's white couch while watching a movie, or at a musical rehearsal of the Velveteen Rabbit while wearing a pair of light khaki shorts. It is relatively easy to discern that your tampon has reached capacity. When a tampon is done, the overflow causes a warm leaking sensation, similar to peeing yourself or having a runny nose but in your vagina. This feeling you quickly learn is a call to action best not ignored. The hardest part about using a tampon is how to tell after an hour or so when there are no visible signs, if it needs changing. You can perform a couple of tests to gain more information. A quick tug on the string to test for friction, or a dab of toilet paper to test for moisture. But to be sure of your course of action, you must then cross-check your data with the average viscosity and relative heaviness of your flow based on your standard monthly cycle, the state of the moon, and any other outstanding variables that might degrade your tampon's ability to absorb fluid. Peeing with a tampon in is one of those variables, especially when using one of those old-fashioned tampons with a woven cord and often accompanied by a hand-rolled cardboard tube. For that reason, it is always safer to change your tampon when you go to the bathroom. But then you risk the toenail curling sensation of your tampon sticking to your vaginal wall as you wrench it out too early, like warm gum being scraped off a shoe. I learned the hard way that this is the other side of the knowing coin. When all else fails, let your female intuition guide you. On my quest for wisdom, it was the night that proved to be the most challenging, with its 8 hours of uninterrupted unconsciousness. If I was sleeping, I was no longer able to channel my OCD into tracking my body's every movement. To make matters worse, when I first got my period, the best pads out there were thick and rectangular in shape, with glue that would barely hold a stamp to a letter. In preparation for a heavy flow night, I would strap one of these flotation devices onto my biggest, ugliest panties, pop in the largest tampon I could find, and pray I didn't wake up in a pool of blood like Jack Woltz in The Godfather. Also at night, there was the threat of toxic shock syndrome if you left the tampon in for too long. How long was that? The idea hung over my head like a live wire. I imagined what the symptoms could be with the suggestion of shock in the name. Would it feel like electrocution? Just so you know, I have no idea still, like, if this is something. Okay, period sex was not even a twinkle in my eye yet, partly because I was a sexless teen, but also because who would want to have sex with a bleeding monster? Let's just say I would be pleasantly surprised in college. Nowadays, young menstruating women of the first world have it relatively easy, with a plethora of body-positive messaging, the internet to solve even the most obscure period-related questions, and a range of sanitation tools at their disposal. The company Thinks makes period-proof underwear that acts like a cool-looking adult diaper. It even comes in thongs. Guys, hands beyond. Thanks to some of these cultural shifts and the grace of aging, I have come to see my menstrual cycle as a painful, annoying, beautiful, and powerful experience that connects me in a tangible way to the cycles of nature. While I probably won't become a free bleeder, I have become much more relaxed about bloody mishaps. Tip, wear all black. talking about my period. As if to reinforce my menstrual cycle's connection to the universe, I recently got my period on the night of a full moon. After some quick research, I found this phenomenon is called a red moon cycle. In contrast to the white moon cycle, when ovulation happens during the full moon and is supposedly most advantageous for procreation, women who bleed on a red moon cycle ovulate during the darkness of the new moon. It is said that this cycle is best for artistic creations, healing, and magic. When this happened, I was attending an artist residency in Clit, and at the time, and in general, I'm living a life that prioritizes creative endeavors over raising children. So this explanation felt very validating of my life choices. As I laid in bed watching the bright moonlight cast shadows on the wall, I marveled at the mysteries of the universe. On a practical level, I was excited to be able to track my ovulation cycles by the phases of the moon. It will make it so much easier to know when to buy tampons. But also it made me see my monthly cycle as an asset, something that has helped to define me rather than just be a burden. It made me proud to be in my body, period. Sure. So my website is Thibault.com, and I have Instagram that I'm very active on for my painting, Sarah_Thibault. And then I have an artist talk on February 10th here.